So Rotary Youth Leadership Award, we term it as RYLA in case you're not aware of, you hear RYLA and say what in the world that is. It is our Rotary Youth Leadership Award. It's a 6-day summer camp for high school students, primarily between their sophomore and junior years. RYLA campers are students with leadership potential who are recommended by their schools and then selected for sponsorship by us, your local Rotary clubs. This year, our club paid to send 3 St. Mary's students on this adventure, and they have joined us today. Dawson, I'm going to mess it up, I know. Give it to me one more time. Ghavam, thank you, sorry. Natalie Hung and Crystal, is it Rangel? Rangel Via, sorry. Our district's RYLA format promotes leadership development, emphasizing team problem solving, communication and conflict management, ethical decision-making, and community citizenship. The camp is entirely paid for by Rotary. RYLA was held at Grove Camp in Durana, Oregon from June 16th to the 21st. I'm excited to introduce our students today to share their experiences at RYLA. Welcome to our students.
Thank you. Yeah, just throw it on. Hey, everybody. Thank you for having us today. We're here to talk about, as you heard, the Rotary Youth Leadership Camp. And it really, yeah. So it was about a month ago, and we all went. Crystal and I are going to be juniors at St. Mary's, and they will be a senior. So yeah, this is us. So here, how's the clicker work? Here, you want to introduce it?
Okay. So this is our table of contents. We split up our presentation between the 3 of us. So Crystal's going to start talking about our species groups, and then I'm going to talk about like the tangible leadership concepts that we learned while we were there. And then Dawson's going to go more into like the daily life at camp. And then we're going to end all of our parts with our favorite part about RYLA camp.
So I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about the species groups that we were in. We were with these groups the most throughout our time at camp. There were 9 different groups. We had the salmon, the sea lions, bears, moose, eagles, sasquatches, roadrunners, frogs, and wolves. I was a salmon myself. Natalie was a sea lion, and Dawson was a sasquatch. Um, These were groups typically made of around 10 people. Some of them got switched in the beginning because people ended up wandering off to the wrong groups. And so those groups just ended up adopting those people. So some people ended up with a little more. We began our time with some icebreaker activities just to learn a little bit about each other, what our interests were and where we were going from, as there was people from all over Oregon and even some from California. As we moved on through the week, we started engaging in some more personal activities that allowed us to share a little bit more about ourselves, and sometimes that was a little more emotional. One of these was the trust fall, in which we climbed up a platform, and there was 2 steps. At the first step, we would share with our group why we trusted ourselves the most, and on the second step, we would share with the group who we trusted the most in our lives and why. And then we would ask for the support from our team, and they would catch us with like a tarp. I feel like this activity really helped us be honest with ourselves and our group and really grow that relationship with them, just because it's not something that you think about maybe on a daily basis. And so it really helped us reflect on who we were as people and how we integrated ourselves into the groups. Another one of these activities that we took part in was called The Wall, in which we shared a personal challenge that we were trying to overcome and showed that we were there to support each other. And then we would physically help each other climb the wall. In both of these activities, you had the option to be open with each other, but I feel like by this point we had like already created a level of trust where we knew that we were okay to share things that maybe we wouldn't share with somebody else. And it really put into perspective how many people are really there to support you in what you want to accomplish. And then our cumulative project that we integrated all of our leadership skills that we learned throughout the week and with the bond that we formed with the group was our pitch proposals. My group, the Salmon, did a school supplies drive that would happen once a year to help people in low-income situations. And we also found that sometimes the clothing at our school, like that people can take, has a lot of stigma around it. So we wanted to reduce that and make it a more fun experience. And Natalie's group was also planning to do a supplies drive, but for an organization in Toledo, Oregon. And Dawson's group focused on a hotline that would motivate people to stay in school because the dropout rates can be so high nowadays. And overall, I feel that these species groups really put an emphasis on how trust is important in working together as a group and how that really lays the foundation for how you work with other people. And my favorite part of camp was probably being able to connect with so many different people from all over Oregon. I made friends in many different places, and I also got pushed out of my comfort zone in the RYLA shows, which I did not expect to participate in, but I ended up participating in it with my species group and also with my cabin, and it ended up being really fun, and I honestly wish I could have done it more.
So my name is Natalie. I'm going to talk about three main concepts about leadership or like group dynamics we learned at RYLA. So the first one was the true colors assessment. And if you're not familiar with true colors, it basically is an assessment that you'll take and it'll categorize people's personalities into 4 colors. And these colors have different strengths. So for example, Crystal and I, our dominant color is gold, and golds are known to be they plan a lot, they're pretty organized, and they'll follow the rules. And Dawson's dominant color is orange, and oranges are known to be very free, they really like action, and they're more spontaneous. And we talked about our true colors throughout all of the camp because we were all part of many different groups. We had our cabin groups, the species group that Crystal was talking about, and then even larger groups of around 30 kids where we had to do a lot of teamwork activities, and we talk about how our different strengths as team members kind of played into how we work together. And I think it was a really big takeaway for me is that, you know, working in a team is difficult and you all have different strengths. So you have to learn to work together with people who may not work like you. They have different strengths so that your team can be successful. The second leadership concept that we talked a lot about was like Goldman's 6 leadership styles. And I'm not going to describe all of them due to our like time constraints, but the main things we learned from this is that there are some leadership styles, like the commanding leadership style, that will yield very good results in a short amount of time for your team. But on the long run, it's not as good for your group because you won't bond as well together. On the flip side, there are other leadership styles like democratic or affiliative, and those are more bonding for your group. You'll have more people talking, and you may not have as good results in the short term, but on the long term, your team will be a stronger team, and you can have better results on the long run. And I think that RYLA, the way they structured us, the camp, so that we could learn these concepts in the morning through like a lecture, and then we would do activities with our species group or our element groups. And the element group was composed of multiple species group. And then we would do a teamwork activity. And they were difficult challenges because you were like thrown into a group with like 29 other kids that you'd never met before, and you have to work together to complete a goal. And after this activity, like the first activity we did, we talked about how we worked together, how we thought it went. We implemented what we learned about leadership styles. And the first time we did a big activity, we're like, okay, I think we had a lot of commanding leadership style. A lot of people were kind of telling others what to do. So next time, let's try and like listen to each other more. Maybe we'll try and get more democratic leadership style. And we did. So the second time we did the activity, we did a much better job trying to include more people, listen to people's ideas. And I think that structure of like learning about the concept, doing an activity, and then debriefing about it afterwards to really talk about how we used what we learned in the team was a really good way for us to learn about it. And then the last concept we learned was Tuckerman's 4 stages of group development. And I'd say we saw this the most in our species group, because you had a group of 10 people and it culminated in an actual like presentation. And that's the last stage of Tuckerman's model. It's like in the end, you will end up, you will be presenting with your team. And the second stage of this model is storming. And that's kind of like when your group will have a lot of disagreements. You've just met each other, you're trying to get more comfortable. And it was nice because we were in so many different groups throughout this camp that we could really see this process for ourselves. And when we go back to St. Mary's and the leadership positions that we hold, I think we can really take away the lessons that that the leadership concepts that we learned here that can help make our team stronger back at home. And then I'm going to share my favorite part. So like Crystal, I think my favorite part was making friends from all over Oregon. I think RYLA is a really special place because you won't often get the opportunity to meet peers from all over the state. So I think that was my favorite thing. And then a close second was I went on the morning run with my cabin mate every morning. And also like Grove Camp is like picturesque Oregonian like beauty. Like there's a lot of trees. It's really pretty. I think Dawson will talk more about the other camp activities.
Everybody, I just want to say thank you again for sending us to this camp. It was a super great opportunity for all of us, I would say, and it was, it was a meaningful experience. So thank you. But yeah, I'm here to talk to you about, daily camp life and activities at RYLA. So you've heard a lot about Camp RYLA now. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but kind of every day it would all boil down to the same sort of thing. We had, like Natalie mentioned, her favorite part, the morning run, and a lot of this stuff. It's all about kind of building community and spending time together. Like I met a lot of people at RYLA who I still talk to, who we're all still close with. And it was all just really so open. And I would say probably the most important takeaway of the camp for me was interacting with others and meeting others, because a big part of leadership in itself is people skills, being a people person, getting to know people. And so, yeah, RYLA was super helpful with that. We had every day, as you've heard, we'd spend time with all of our groups, species group, cabin group, all that sort of thing. Then also all throughout the day, the entire camp was it was geared towards spending time together and kind of building community. So we had free time every day, or there'd be activities, but we kind of group up or go with friends or meet new people. It was encouraged to interact with others. And that was something that was really special about the camp. And where that kind of all came to fruition was every night we would have something called the RYLA show, which was, we would all interact. It was kind of like a talent show, but not really. Folks come up and do an act of some sort. We didn't need to have talent. I don't have talent. I was there. I can confirm. But yeah, that's how RYLA would go. So every day, meal times were kind of special. We would eat outdoors for most meals except for breakfast, because nobody wants to be outside that early. It's kind of a drag. But yeah, so RYLA really was super important to me, and I know a lot of other people I've talked to, sent from other clubs. It meant something to them. It really was a sense of community. I met a lot of people. There were students on exchange. I met an Italian guy who I'm quite close with. He was here on the Rotary exchange. He's been here for a year. So that was really cool, that he got to go. And that Rotary is making this happen for all of us. It's super, super important to us, I would say. And my favorite part, same as Crystal and Natalie, and I'm sure almost any other of the 100 kids who are at RYLA, was just meeting and interacting with other people, the campers and the staff. It was all really meaningful experience. These are a couple of friends I made. And they all mean a lot to me. I talk to them. I'm sure I'll talk to them for quite a while. And really it taught me what is most important about being a leader is just connecting with people, being close to people. So thank you all again for the opportunity. It really means a lot.
All right, folks, this is our chance to open it up to questions and ask our students what's on your mind. Leanne, why don't you start us off?
This is to all 3 of you. Would any of you like to go back and be one of the student counselors?
Yes.
Absolutely. That means a lot to us.
Another question?
Yeah, you said that you each have leadership positions at St. Mary's. Could you tell us what those are? And my second question is, how many people were at the camp?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I can start off. At school, I participate in a lot of sports teams, and I'm captain on a couple of teams. I participate in student council as well. And then there were about 100 kids at the camp, not including staff. I'd say about 20 guys and 80 girls. It's a little imbalanced. I don't know. Felt a little outnumbered.
Dawson's demographic numbers were completely correct. That's how it was like. I'm the captain of my robotics team at school, and this next year I'm going to be the co-president of St. Mary's Student Council.
I'm part of some sports teams which have already asked me to maybe make a presentation at the beginning of the season because this camp taught me so much about leadership, and I feel like I can really integrate that into the teams, into connecting a closer bond. And I also plan to bring some of it to the clubs that I'm a part of, like the Red Cross Club.
I also have a question for the three of you. You can just pass the mic. I'm curious at the talent show, what talent each of you demonstrated.
So me and my cabin, which Natalie was also a part of, we did like a Cabin's Got Talent. So we either like partnered up or did a solo. And each of us picked something to do. Me and my partners decided to do a little dance. So
Yeah, her group had like sunglasses on. It was really cool. So yeah, we're in the same cabin. So with my partner, I used to do gymnastics and I quit in like fifth grade or something, but I still have like a few skills. And I think my partner is like on the cheerleading team at her school or something. So we did like a little mini gymnastics routine, and that was our talent.
Yeah, believe it or not, I sang. So a couple of guys and we sang Coldplay, and they've gotten a bit more popular recently with some stuff that's going on. So yeah, that was fun. That was it. Yeah.
I saw a hand in the back. Pat?
Dawson, maybe afterwards you can reenact that for us. Hey, thanks for being here. Wonderful presentation. Our daughter was a RYLA attendee 26 years ago, and she didn't want to go, very apprehensive, barely wanted to get off the bus. But just as you folks described, she still today says it changed her life. So it's a great organization. I'd put you guys on the spot here for a second. Every year it seems like we're right down to the very last minute with applicants and trying to find qualified candidates. We were so fortunate to find you three this year. Put your leadership hats on, and what would you suggest to us as a way to try to get the RYLA applications into us sooner so that we have a little bit more time to work that out?
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say we hadn't really honestly heard of RYLA or known about anything until we reached out to by teachers. Yeah, would you say so? Yeah, and that's kind of a similar experience that I talked to with kids from all over the district, is that they're like, yeah, no, we didn't really know about it until about a week before. So I think it could be helpful to people to maybe know about it, and then maybe applicants could kind of find someone they could talk to if they want to go to the camp, and they could be selected from there. But it's just, there's not a ton of word out about it in general. Did you guys?
Yeah, I think the three of us didn't know anything about RYLA when we went, and I think that's the same for most of the RYLA campers. And if anything, I kind of think it made the camp experience better because like you had no idea what was going to happen. As for like increasing RYLA applications, I would say like I'm not sure. I think it was our vice principal, right, at our school that reached out to us. But I guess contacting those people and having them like get the word out to the students earlier, I guess would be a good way to increase applications. And also, I think there was a lot of different schools who sent kids there, but there's some other Medford schools I think were absent there. Yeah, but like I don't know if South Medford or North Medford didn't send any kids, I don't think. But I don't know, that's something this coming year I think I really want to try and get like I would go to the schools and try and get them to send some applications in because I think it was a really valuable experience, and part of that was the diversity of students and where they came from. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for your really informative and articulate presentation. That was terrific. Did the various species, the frogs, the salmon, and the Sasquatches get together much?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together, especially during our free time, but then also in our elemental groups, some of our species groups were paired together. So there was just a lot of time to bond with a lot of people, even if they weren't in your species group or elemental group. It's not like you were missing out on hanging out with a specific person. There was always time to bond with people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was segregated by species group at all because everyone in your cabin, which was another like 10 people, were all from different species groups. And then, yeah, and everyone's pretty friendly. So dining time, you can just go up and talk to different people. But yeah, I mean, like, especially my cabin mates, because we weren't all in the same species group. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much going on at camp that you get to interact with everybody. That's something that they really focus on. I feel like is important.
Go ahead, Eric.
Communicating. Have you been communicating with any of the new friends that you met from other parts of Oregon?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some folks I text with or call with every couple of days. Yeah. Checking on how they're doing and everything.
My species group, the sea lions, we have a group chat with all of us on it. And then I think our camp counselors, or like our species counselors, are on there as well because they're pretty important to us too. Let's see, one of the friends I made is from Toledo, and she says she has a sister that lives in Ashland, where I live. So she told me if she ever comes down there, she'll text me and maybe we'll grab a meal together.
Yeah, I've kept in contact with a lot of the people that I connected with at camp, and we just like update each other on how our summer's going and how school is going to start here soon.
How was it determined which species group you would be in?
It was random, I think.
And nobody's sure.
We don't know. It was probably random.
I don't know. He looks a lot like a Sasquatch to me.
I just wanted to ask, why do you think there was only 20 guys and 80 girls? I mean, do we need to do something about that or what?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, no.
The plus.
I'm not sure. I mean, I was talking to a couple of the counselors about it. Because every night there were a couple of counselors that would come into my cabin every night and they just kind of talk with us guys. We'd all just have conversations about whatever, work, school, so on and so forth. And what they'd actually mentioned was that it wasn't that they didn't reach out, just as many guys, but a lot of them were already busy or had less interest in the camp. Does that make sense? Yeah, no, there were a lot of sports camps that got in the way of some opportunities and things like that, like say like a football camp.
Another question in the back. I have a question. Just what is your path forward? Like, how will you? Great for it? Is it something that you're looking at, or now university or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, we go to prep school, so college is kind of always in the back of our heads, I would say. Yes.
So like applying what we learned from RYLA. So I think particularly like the true colors, the robotics team I'm on, that's like peak teamwork for many, many months working together. So I think I'm going to try and implement what I learned about true colors and working with people who have different strengths than me on the robotics team. I was going to join the Interact Club at school. I think we have one. That's the other thing I was going to do. I was going to join the Interact Club. Yeah. And then for the Rotary youth exchange program, St. Mary's already has resources for our students to do like short-term exchanges, and then I'm not sure. I don't know if I can. I think I'll try because I think it's a really unique experience. I'm like a rising senior, so I'm not going to go and exchange on my last year. But if I can, I might try and bring it up to the rest of the student body in case it's some opportunity that they would like. So say promotion of the Rotary Youth Exchange Program since I'm a rising senior, Interact Club. And then I'll try and take what I learned on my student council team and my robotics team.
I also plan to join the Interact Club. I feel that RYLA really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And since I was younger, I've always really loved being like the idea of helping people. And so doing that now, and then eventually hopefully going to the healthcare where I can help a lot of people.
I do want to make sure that we mention that because of the dates of RYLA, these students all actually missed the last part of their school year in order to go to RYLA. That was part of the problem with the planning, is taking that to the district maybe, is the dates for RYLA overlap the end of their school. So they all chose this instead of finishing school. So thank you for doing that.
All right, I'll take advantage of the last question. So if I remember right from either last year or the year before, when one of the RYLA students spoke, that you had limited or no access to your phones while you were there. How did you cope?
Yeah, there was no cell service at RYLA, and I didn't really mind. I know a guy, he brought, I think, 6 hotspots. And unfortunately for him, none of them worked without service or anything. I think he also had like 4 portable batteries. And he brought a bunch of Red Bull too. So, you know, the comforts of home. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't think really a ton of us had problems with it. I mean, I had to communicate with family afterwards.
Okay, so I think I saw there was going to be no data. So the first day I was like, oh, there's no data. So I shut down my phone and I didn't touch it for 5 like full days. And I haven't done that in a while. You know, they're teenagers. So that was actually like, it was like a full-on phone cleanse. And that was really nice. And I think if you took the really steep hike or you went on like the 10-mile bike ride, you might get like 1 bar. And that was really exciting for some people. But I turned off my phone and I just didn't touch it for like 5 days. And we were at camping. It was pretty awesome.
It honestly was pretty amazing because I feel like in today's like world, we're always stuck to our phones, and even as teenagers especially. And so we don't take the time to connect with all the people around us or get to know them. And I feel like it really pushed us to go out there and put ourselves where we were talking to a lot of people that we had never met from very different places. The only thing that was probably sad is that I didn't take a lot of pictures, but I have a lot of memories in my head. So I think that will be good enough.
So big round of applause to Crystal, Natalie, and Dawson, the Sasquatch. Hey, so this is normally where we say we're support the holy cow, George, the smart reading program, and we have them sign a book. I actually pre-planned and had all 3 of them sign a book. The cool part is Bud helped me pick out the book. Little did we know this book's name is Elephants Can't Dance. But what we did learn is Natalie and Crystal can dance. So thank you very much, you guys. You were wonderful. Thank you.